Welcome to the School of International Studies May graduation 2012. I'd like to introduce the Director of the School of International Studies, Dr. Joel Jenslow.
Thank you and welcome. We're really pleased that you're all able to come. This is our spring hooding ceremony. This is an event where we recognize the accomplishments of our graduates each and every term. We've had some really outstanding classes in the past several years. This one is no exception. So we acknowledge all the hard work that these people have put in to get through their program, usually in a relatively short period of time, and completed their graduation requirements for a master's degree. So that's what we celebrate today. We do this for some reason by dressing up in 15th century costumes. Garb that's really not suited for anything else except maybe a Halloween party. But we do this because there's symbolism attached to these garments. And symbolism is very important in academia. There are differences in the gowns themselves. A PhD gown, such as the one I'm wearing, is not exactly the same as a master's gown, and it's not exactly the same as a baccalaureate gown. So there are differences even in the basic garment. There's a number of additional things. You'll see some of us wearing these as well. We've got our medallions. You'll see people wearing stoles with different sorts of insignia on them. You'll see people with cords or other kinds of additional things attached to their regalia. All of that has meaning. They all mean something, and they all mean different kinds of things. Usually the medallions and the cords and the stoles represent membership in an honorary society of some sort or another, or some other kind of academic distinction. But of all of us, the one that's really important, the one that really matters, is the hood. And this is why we have a hooding ceremony for our graduates. The academic hood is the symbol of advanced accomplishment in academia. And so the school holds this ceremony to give full weight to this accomplishment. Our graduates today come from 5 different countries and 6 different states. The flags that you see arrayed on the podium behind the faculty advisors represent the flags from the countries of our graduates today, other than the United States. We also have the Peace Corps flag at the end of the row. As some of you may know, we have a very successful master's program that's affiliated with Peace Corps service. And when we get to hooding our candidates today, you'll notice some of them wearing a white stole with a Peace Corps insignia on it. Another example of these additional sorts of things that you'll see with academic regalia. We're pleased that you were all able to come here to witness this with us and to celebrate with us. We appreciate that some of you have come from very far distances. And I'm pleased to be able to say that today, for the first time, we're recording this entire ceremony, and it will be available on the internet. It'll be linked to our webpage on the internet. So those of you with family and friends from faraway places, overseas, perhaps even the other side of the world, can in fact, with a few clicks on their computer, witness this event at home at a time of their convenience. I'd also like to just take a minute before we proceed and introduce to you some people in the audience today who are worth pointing out. Now, this is very dangerous, right? Because you're always going to forget somebody. But nevertheless, of the people I've noticed here that I would like to call to the attention of the rest of you, let me just point them out quickly. First is Wes and Lou Watkins. They're sitting in the back of the room there. For those of you not familiar with our programs, the Watkins really are sort of the first family of international studies and international interests here at OSU. Lou is an OSU regent, and Wes is a former U.S. congressman who, more than anyone else, has been the driving force behind putting our programs together and helping them work. We have a number of scholarships and fellowships, some in the Watkins name, some that they helped establish but don't carry their name. And those of you who came in the front door may have noticed that on the side of the building, we are in fact in the Wes Watkins Center. So the Watkins are with us today, and we appreciate their presence. Another individual I'd like to point out is Dr. Jim Hromas. He's in the back there. Jim? Jim was Dr. David Henneberry's predecessor, and he was at the helm when this program was created and saw it through its formative years and led it up until just about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he's retained an interest in us and our programs, and we're always pleased when he comes and shares our events with us. There is also a Distinguished Graduate Fellowship that was established in his name as well, that we award to deserving students. And finally, I notice Celeste Campbell. Dr. Campbell is our university registrar. So this is the woman who heads the office, who's responsible for all of your records and making sure you all check out and get out if you're in an orderly way. So we're pleased to have Celeste with us as well. And I'm told that Dr. Ron and Zona Noyes are with us today as well. Ron is an emeritus professor here at OSU, and Zona, his wife, worked here for a good many years. I think it's 14 years altogether. And we're pleased to have them back. Obviously, strong supporters of the program, essentially played a significant role in making it run for a good many years. So we're pleased to see you as well. Thanks for coming. I am positive I missed somebody, but I think I'll have to risk it and press on. I'd like to introduce to you the members of the stage party. And first off to my left, your right, is the second most important group of people in the room. These are the faculty advisors of our students who are willing and able to come and be with us today. And you'll meet them individually as they participate in bestowing the hoods upon their individual advisees. So those are our representatives from the faculty advisors. You know, this is an interdisciplinary program, and that means that we really depend upon the cooperation of faculty and programs from all over campus to make it work. And very often there is not much of a reward, or any at all, frankly, for faculty to support our students and to take this on in addition to their own responsibilities in their home departments. So it's very meaningful that these people are willing to do this and to take an interest in our program. It literally does not function without faculty cooperation, and that's completely voluntary. As for the rest of the stage party, starting on my right, your left, at the end is Dr. Jennings Burris. Dr. Burris is the director of the events and meetings for the Wes Watkins Center. He's responsible for taking care of the building and the events that take place in it, and he is singularly responsible for this event and all that goes with it, the food, the refreshments, the setup, and the staging. And he and his staff do a terrific job of holding events here and keeping things running smoothly and helping us run our programs and our ceremonies in a meaningful way. And in a way that well, makes it pleasurable and pleasant to be here with us. The next person needs no introduction, especially to the students. Donna Birchler is our graduate student advisor. Donna has been with the program since its inception, and I like to say that she is both the institutional memory of the program and my conscience. I will occasionally come up with some or another harebrained idea, and Donna will be the first one in my office saying, now wait a minute, have you thought about how this will affect the students? She is an absolute, well, the word that sort of best describes her advocacy of student interests is ferocious. And you see the candidates nodding down here. They know very well. And I'm very pleased to be able to tell you that this year, Donna was named the Outstanding Graduate Support Staff Person on campus. This is a university-wide award, and both the nomination process and the decision-making for the final awardee are done by graduate students from around campus. So Donna has received some well-deserved recognition this year. Well, at this point, I would like to turn the program over to the last member of our stage party, last but certainly not least. Dr. David Henneberry is Associate Vice President for International Studies and Outreach. International Studies and Outreach is the part of the university, the division of the university that deals with a wide range of international activities and relationships, and also a good many of our off-campus course delivery systems, even here in the United States. So it's a very broad portfolio with a lot of responsibilities. The School of International Studies falls under, is one of the units of International Studies and Outreach. Dr. Henneberry is responsible for the entire unit. And so we're very pleased that he'll join us today, or he's joined us today. And I'd like to take this opportunity to both introduce Dr. Henneberry to you and turn the podium over to him. David?
Thank you. For the next few minutes, we have a really pleasant thing to do, and that is to recognize one of the faculty members at OSU who has made an outstanding contribution to the School of International Studies as we present the Distinguished Faculty Award, which is the highest award that the School of International Studies bestows upon a member of the OSU faculty for their contributions to our students that help them to succeed, not only in their coursework, but also advising and counseling and helping them in every aspect of being a successful graduate student here at Oklahoma State University. The winner of this award, or the honoree this year, is Dr. Stephen Perkins. Dr. Perkins, would you please come and stand here while I tell everybody? Dr. Perkins is a long-time resident of Stillwater, having first come here in 1968. As an undergraduate student, he studied anthropology, archaeology, sociology, first at OSU and then at another institution a little south of here. But he ended up in Arizona pursuing a PhD in anthropology, which he achieved in 2000. And he came back to Stillwater in 2002, accepting a professorship in anthropology. And he began offering in 2005 a class called Globalization and Culture. And this has been a very important course. Just think about the topic, globalization and culture. For our students here in International Studies, it's been a very important course to provide them with this perspective on the world. And he is part of a long family tradition of professorship. His father, Larry Perkins, was a professor in actually the same department for many, many years. I knew your dad. And, well, we saw each other occasionally. And Dr. Perkins also has been involved in Oklahoma archaeology. And this is kind of interesting because he's co-directed 4 archaeological field schools in northern Oklahoma on the Arkansas River. And what they found were 18th century international trade relationships between the Wichita people and the French traders from New Orleans. And so his own research goes back to what might be some of the earliest international trade in Oklahoma. Dr. Perkins, we sincerely appreciate your assistance to the School of International Studies, and we want to recognize you today with the highest award that we give to a faculty member, the Distinguished Faculty Award. Dr. Perkins, congratulations.
Thank you. Well-deserved indeed. I mentioned earlier in my opening remarks that we have a number of fellowships and scholarships that go out to the students that have been established in various donors' names. We used to present those at this ceremony, but just this year we went to a separate award ceremony. So we won't be presenting those, but there's one student award that we did not give out. And we have a separate Outstanding Student Award. And this one's a surprise. Nobody knows who it is until I announce it here. Well, I do, obviously. But beyond that, no one is aware of its recipient until we make the announcement presentation here. And so I want to take a minute and recognize our outstanding student in the School of International Studies this year. Our outstanding student this year is Katie Bursagate. Katie came into our program from University of Louisiana at Lafayette as her undergraduate institution, where she came in with a near-perfect GPA. I think it was a 3.8 or something like that, and really over-the-top recommendation letters from her faculty there. She did not disappoint. She's carrying a perfect 4.0 GPA in our program, and she's been very involved in extracurricular activities as well. Our student organization is called the Student Association of Global Affairs, or SAGA, and Katie has been very involved in their activities as well. She's planning, I think, on entering a doctoral program.
Someday.
Immediately. In any case, Katie is a native of Louisiana, and so she makes a pretty mean gumbo too, so I'm told. So, Katie, it's my pleasure. Outstanding Student Award. At this time, I'd like to turn the podium back over to Donna Birchler, and we will proceed with the putting of our candidates.
If I can get all the students to rise, please. And I'd like you to follow Shannon Smith. If you'll go around the curve, that way, Shannon. Yeah, around the curve. You haven't got your diploma yet, so you still have to. Yeah, just enough that you can stop so Juliet's in the lead here. Our first student this evening to be hooded is Juliet Abdel-Jawad. She'll be hooded by Dr. Charles Leibig, Department of Management. Juliet is the third sister from from her family to graduating from the School of International Studies. Casey Bursaday, Louisiana. She's going to be hooded by Dr. Stephen Perkins, Department of Sociology. Leslie Briggs, she'll be hooded by Dr. Joel Jenswald, School of International Studies. Leslie is doing a dual degree with Upaya University in Pueblo, Mexico, so she will be leaving to go to Mexico for 1 year. Alisa Busaleva, Ukraine. She's being hooded by Dr. Joel Jenswald. Her advisor was Dr. Victor Dmitriev from Foreign Languages. For those of you that aren't aware, we do have a Ukrainian mafia in the program. Michael Demisi, Ethiopia. He will be hooded by Dr. Sheeta Henneberry, Agricultural Economics. Melissa Elroya, she will be hooded by Dr. Joel Jenswald. Melissa spent 6 months in Chile, Melissa? Matt Flynn, Oklahoma. He'll be hooded by Dr. Joel Jenswald. His advisor is Dr. Hong Bo Yu. Matt has completed our program with most of the time being in Tulsa. He's an OSU Tulsa student. Matt spent some time in India.
Yes.
He also was inducted into Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society, one of the top honor societies at OSU, across the United States, I'm sorry. Dana Lynn France Brody. Canada, she's the first Canadian to complete our program. She will be hooded by Dr. Joel Jenswald. Dana spent previous time in Mexico, and she heads to Chile this summer. Sean Patrick Harkin, the Irishman in our program. Go Irish! In and he's going to be hooded by Dr. Joel Griswold. Sean is also Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. Haley Hofferty comes from Missouri. She'll be hooded by Dr. Joel Genswald. She's one of our Masters International Program students, and she will be going into the Peace Corps. She also came to us as a McNair Scholar, which is one of the top scholars across the United States also, so we were thrilled to get Haley in our program. Darren Kruczynski, Ohio. You have to have some Midwesterners in the program. I'm from Indiana and Dr. Genswald's from Minnesota, or Wisconsin. Wisconsin. He's a Wisconsin Badger. And he's going to put there. Darren's also going into the Peace Corps. He'll be going to Macedonia. Brooke Laney, Texas. She's going to be hooded by Dr. Cello Tenario, Department of Foreign Languages. Brooke has worked with Dr. Stephen Miller on the Governors International team. She's also completing a thesis, so she will complete her thesis this summer. Blanca Lozano, Mexico.
Bravo!
Hola! She'll be hooded by Dr. Joel Genswald. Blanca has completed our dual degree program from Puebla, Mexico. Anatoly Shemenko, Russia. His advisor was Dr. Raj Basu, and he will be hooded by Dr. Genswald. Not to be undone, we do have Russian Mafia in the program as well. And our final graduate this evening is Shannon Smith from Maryland. She is in our Masters International Peace Corps program. She'll be hooded by Dr. Stephen Perkins. Shannon has got her Peace Corps full speaking, if I say this right, is it Benin, Africa. And she'll be leaving this summer. If we could have a round of applause for our graduates. I will now turn the program back over to Dr. Genswald on personal note, I'm gonna say, I miss you guys.
We love you, Donna.
Uh, I know everybody has to work and everybody has a job, but to have one like I have, I'm pretty darn lucky, because these guys, I call them my little chickens, but they're more than that to me, so